Well, hello. Welcome to Liberia Shall Rise. I am your host, Augustine Sharif, and I'm here with two distinguished men. One, I think he's the CEO for this platform, Dr. Positive, and Mr. Sapalucia. He's our go-to person for everything around the clock, and maybe the next senator for Bon County. Yeah, but we are here. We are here to actually lend our voices to some of the big issues going on in the country. Look, the drug issue, we will continue to beat the dead horse until we get everybody. We not worry about it right now. However, though, we'll talk about something that the Liberian government, which we don't talk about, that they are putting, trying to hide under the rug, and they're trying to be sneaky about this. But we'll talk about it. And also we'll be discussing the whole issue of the deportees, the 1,200 deportees they're trying to sneak into our country. We'll talk about that. Now, I know from this show, most of you guys will probably email or text me and tell me that I'm a racist. I don't like other people, but that's a good conversation for us to have. We'll define what it means to be racist. So, Sapalucia, welcome to the show. Stephen, you got some kind of echo in the background. If you can just mute something.
No, we're testing your audio. Or testing the audio.
Welcome to the show, Sapalucia. How you doing, boss?
I'm wonderful. I'm wonderful. I've been away for at least 2 weeks. Good to be back and good to share my views on what is unfolding in our country.
All right, good to have you here. And Dr. Positive, Bossman, how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing great. I just wanted you guys to see this. I actually won this yesterday for being a smart person. I'd say we had a health fair yesterday, the July 24th celebration, the Flag Day celebration. I don't know if you guys celebrated yesterday, but we did in Dallas. And they had a community health fair along with the celebration of July 24th. So I was asked a question, what is the percentage of water in your body? And how is that question? And that's what I wanted her today. So I just wanted to show you that I not only talk show host, I got some skills too. I can answer questions and I ask, So Felicia, Dr. Bestman was proud of me yesterday. She was very proud of me. So I just wanted to share my joy with you guys,
Look, I applaud you, man. I applaud you. I want to say congratulations to you. I'm not going to take no more joy away from you. So I'm just going to stop right there because I was going to say, my fourth grade student can answer that question. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to take it, but no, congrats. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Sharif. I'm glad you decided that.
People can know that we are not just sitting here running our mouth on empty. Our brains are not on E yet. We got something in there, so we're good. We're good. But gentlemen, look, today we got to talk about something that's very, very important. Very important to national security, very important to economic security, very important to healthcare. Sapulu says the healthcare guru, very important to everything that we'll talk about. And I want us to go into the mind of our Liberians, those that live in Liberia today. How are they receiving this news? Do they even know? Do they even know that this thing is happening? And so I'm just going to jump right on this topic, except you guys have any kind of thing else you want to throw in before we get right into the topic. Sapalucia,
no. Let's get it started.
But me asking Sapalucia, do you have anything from Bon County you want to share with us before we go?
Well, let's go ahead. We'll tap into Bon County later.
Okay, Mr. Willimaga, do you have anything from Grand Bassa County you want to share before we hit the road?
No, nothing from Grand Bassa.
Okay, then let's get the show on the roll. Okay, gentlemen, those of you who have seen our topic, look, share the show. We pride ourselves in being quote unquote small platform, but we bring informative information. We don't come here to say something that just because we want to run our mouth. We come hopefully with the hope of maybe educating and maybe telling our people things that they have not seen or things that they never thought about. And so one of the things that maybe we want to really kind of talk about is this whole concept of what happened. I think you and myself, maybe I didn't wake up to it, but on August the 18th of this year, that's on Tuesday. This on Tuesday. You and myself, we saw the press conference, and attending that press conference, we have our foreign minister, we have our information minister, We have our chief security officer of the country, our how do they call him? Justice minister. Okay, we have those people in attendance, and they were nonchalantly just pronouncing and producing information that, and no, Sabulista, I can tell you this. As the information minister was giving the news, I saw the discomfort on his face. I saw someone just being very careful with his words, as if he was saying so go back and listen to the tune of the information minister. This is a smart gentleman. He's not somebody who don't know how to talk, but he was really counting his words. The government of Liberia, pause for 4 or 5 seconds, have agreed, pause for four, in principle. And basically, that's exactly the whole press conference. So I was, before he even got to the meat of the conference, I said, what is going on? Why is the discomfort? Where's Gregory Coleman, who can attack and yell at everybody and try to answer everybody's question in the press conference? Where is he? Maybe he can do a better job and give us this news. And so, Sabulisi, I want to start from there, though. When you saw that press conference, what was your overview of the presentation of the press conference before we even get to the message of it? What do you think you are suspecting? At least I felt discomfort.
So, in my opinion and observation, I think right now, the public, the Liberian public, are not educated to what's going on. That's one. And I think those that are giving these announcements, or those who have been put in front of the cameras to speak, maybe may not know the full agreement, the understanding. They may not have the understanding of the agreement, in my opinion. So sometimes if you don't know the detail of something, presenting that is difficult, because you standing in front of the press, and no discredit to our journalists in Liberia, sometimes you don't know what question is going to come.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And if you don't know the answer to those questions, it becomes embarrassing.
Sure.
So it could be the reason that it was the way it was presented the way it was, or they are afraid of the backlash that may come if citizens realize that, look, these are now the well-established people that they bring into our country. They may not, be willing to accept that responsibility as leaders who representing the government. And maybe also looking at the political toxicity, if I can call that, they may feel that opposition will use that. If honestly, if opposition were smart, those are things that we use. I know the drug issue is there, but if I was an opposition leader or a political party leader back home on opposition, that's something I will push along with the drugs to show, for me, in my opinion, that the government is incompetent or not transparent. Everything is opaque because we got these people coming to our country, we don't know them. And you could use it not in a negative way, but to push out your message that how you could do it better and what the gains could be. But the presentation, in my opinion, was not sold well. Maybe because most people are not paying attention to what is going on when it comes to that immigration stuff. They don't understand the magnitude. They don't understand the ramification. They don't know about the social well-being of those people that are coming in. So because they are not informed, maybe our leaders give information just based on, I don't know. I mean, sometimes it's just hard to read into, right? Because you want your population to behave a certain way when they hear this news, or to ask certain questions. Unfortunately, they don't ask those questions, right? They center everything now around politics. Deportees coming to your country, instead of we talk about the economic benefit, the crime rate, or whatever, we'll move it from there and say, oh, Unity Party is doing well, and then the opposition will say, oh, the country. So everything has become political instead of looking at how that situation is going to impact the country and the common man in Liberia. Then
impact the country. Impact the country. Let's start from the Sabulisia. So the information minister, Jeremy Pierre, he gave this announcement on 18th of the month, just to say, hey, just so you know, the Liberian government have agreed we are going to be within a year, we are going to have at least a total number of 1,200 individuals coming to our country. Now, there were some news medias that actually reported that Liberians are getting deported to Liberia. That information is not correct. It's false. It was not Liberians who have been in the diaspora in the US that are getting deported to Liberia. But actually, when your president came here, sometime last year, I mean this year or sometime last year,
Last year.
where he was sitting before President Trump saying yes sir to President Trump, and President Trump will flatter him by either flattering, however you take it. Unity took it to be a compliment. Other people or opposition look at it to be a mockery. When President Trump was saying he spoke beautiful English, that's all we decided. We did a whole T-shirt like bro speak beautiful English. That's what we're focused on. But what was actually happening in those negotiations? We knew what was happening because we had heard the story. Prior to that, we knew that South Sudan was chosen as a third country, option country, where they had sent 8 individuals at the time. And we knew that individuals were being sent to other countries. So we knew Liberia and the other 5 African countries that were invited, they were invited for the same thing. We knew that was what was happening. And so while you were talking about beautiful country, they were selling your country right under your nose. The same way they sold our country to fire soon without people knowing today our children still suffering for. That was something that was happening. And so today, on the 18th, he stood up, made that announcement. And before we can say what, he said, oh, by the way, on Thursday, 2 days later, the first group will be here. So there's no time for Liberians to even react. No time for us to say, whoa, what are you talking about? Before we can say, what are you talking about? People, by that, before we can, that words could leave our lips. They say, by the way, on Thursday, the first group will be here. So we have no say so. So look at that approach, Sapo Lucia. I want us to take it from there. Was this the proper way to talk about issue of national concern to your people? Or did they just discount the Liberian people? For me, I look at it as a total disrespect to the Liberians, that you are about to do something that could impact them, and they were never made aware of that particular situation. And to me, you just discredit your entire population. I don't care for you. I don't care for your opinion. I will just do exactly what I want to do. Dictatorial kind of move.
Unfortunately, Mr. Sherry, that's how they have ran the country in the last 20 years. Right? In the last 20 years, that's how Liberia have been ran. Those in power make the decision and just either they tell you or you just get to know by some other vines or some other means. That's how Liberia have worked. Right? Everything. We're talking about drug issue every day. When we started with in fact, we can start from the very day this particular government. I'm not even talking about the CDC or the Ellen Johnson study. The Ellen Johnson study, the first two were kind of somewhat. They had some words that they could give out there that people could listen to, people could be informed. But George Weah and this government, they have not had any awareness, no proper awareness to the Liberian public. Okay, we can look at the drug issue. When we started, when the president took over, he started this war against drugs, quote unquote. Okay. And some of us, and I think we had a show about it, and some of us said, look, in order for you to promote war on drugs, the first thing you need to do is to educate the people. That's one. Two, start building infrastructure that will support your policy. If you say you're going to fight war on, if you're declaring war on drugs, the first thing you do is build rehabilitation centers, provide, when the person get out of this rehabilitation center, provide a means by which the person can now return to where they're coming from. That is, if I get out of rehabilitation center, maybe I spend 6 months, 7 months, 1 year. When I get out, I got a job to do so that I don't go back to what I was doing. Mm-hmm. That was not done. That one, they just show. I took back. I drew my blood. They show big camera. Everybody draw their blood, and that was it. And someone knew that was just for the show, you know. And if you look at the whole way our country, where everybody is doing things based on politics, not based on policy, and I think I talked about it before. In that. And the difference is, I just want to show the people that I did something. Mm-hmm. I want to show that I built hospital, but the hospital not working. Nobody there to staff it. I want to show the people that I built this. I want to show the people I brought yellow machine, but yellow machine just packing. That's how we ran everything. And it's the same with this. So you are bringing people into the country We don't know nothing about them. We don't know whether they are hardcore criminals. We don't know whether they are murderers. We don't know whether they are drug addicts. We don't know whether they are drugs or pushers. We don't know anything about these people,
Gang members.
gang members, and these people are not going to live with within the community of Jeremiah Pia, not the president, and not any of those people. The people that are going to really have direct interaction with these people are the Yana boys in Waterside, the people in Nukutan, and all the different places. Those are the people that are going to have direct interaction with these people. Now,
Yep.
you don't educate them. You don't tell them what you're bringing into that community. But you just tell them, hey, you know what? Our president went to America. He spoke good English, and they told him, and you call it negotiation. I really don't want to call it negotiation because negotiation comes with both people asking and demanding something. This is an instruction that was given to Donald. Donald Trump gave instruction to President Bwaka and said, look, this is what I want you to do. And he accepted it. There was no negotiation. Because if you look at some of the things that were under that negotiation, it did not benefit the Liberian people. It only is something that is already existing. Like if you look at a B1, B2 visa, that is something that already exists, and it doesn't benefit a lot of Liberians, right? When you talk about aid going to Liberia, this is a thing that has been happening from 1847. Aid have been going to Liberia, so it's nothing new. So there is no negotiation here. It's just telling you, look, this is what we're going to continue giving you, but from today, we want you to accept this amount of people. And you say, yes, sir, and you keep moving.
Yeah, so thank you, Sabalucia. And basically, look, I agree with you. And because the Liberians were not informed, and I truly believe, look, the drug issue, we can tie it however we want to swing it. But I truly believe because after they make that announcement, they told us, oh, by the way, the next day we're going to be, 2 days later, the first group is going to be here. The next day, that Wednesday, before we could even breathe, they say, oh, the vice president will arrest us for drug. So I don't know. This whole attempt to just sideline our thoughts, to distract us from thinking about this all important thing, it just mind boggling for me. Whether the vice president are going to be arrested or not, the former vice president are going to be arrested or not arrested, that's beside the point. But the mixing of all of this high profile information, it was just intended to confuse people, to take our mind from one thing, like they have done other cases in the past, and just to move us in the other direction. And so here's the thing. Here's my point. When before we even go fast, I want to come back to something you said earlier, which was actually succinct. It was a great point you made. You mentioned about this whole lackadaisical movement of the opposition, no voice, no nothing from them. I agree with you. Look, this country that you must have sit in, our current president, we know he won an election just by pushing the whole idea about immigration. Yeah. He won an election on that. And nobody can deny that. He said, I don't want them here. I'm going to kick them out when you make me president. You know, the other administration have open borders. I don't want open borders. And he won election based on that. And opposition, he was in opposition at the time when he started that campaign, speaking loud and clear about it, built his whole campaign around that. What's wrong with our opposition in the country? Where are the voices of ANC? Where are the voices of CDC? Who's speaking for the NPP? What is their position on this particular issue of national concern, issue of national economic issue? We call it Wahala, but it's a big issue. And our kids are just about to go back to school. Schools opening in the country. There's most schools opening on the 7th of next month. Kids are about to go to school. And you have a whole wave of people coming to our country. What is the opposition doing? When do they speak? And so I don't want us to just jump over that for a second, Sapalucia. What should be the position of the opposition? What should be? Should they issue one statement and push against this? Or should they actually use it as building up their platform now and say, look, Liberians, while you were sleeping, this is how your country got sold. This is how someone came and gave and did this. This is what me as a president, when you elect me, this is what I'm willing to do. What should be the position of the opposition in this particular regard?
So, Mr. Sharif, you see, and that's where I personally always take this thing. When we look at the so-called political individuals who got back home, not political parties or political institutions, that's why I always say that, because we don't have political parties or political institutions that build policies. These were all the same. And I think the reason they behave the way they behave is intentional. Because I believe all these guys that call themselves opposition political individuals, they are going to do exactly what the current person is doing. That's why they don't build a policy that will target the actual needs of the people. If we had a political institution, they will pay attention because you have, if we had an institution, I mean, I'm not using that intentionally. You have in that institution, their strategians, right? Or their strategists. The strategists, under there, you have your communication umbrella, your publicity umbrella. You have all these different arms that will target issues based on what you know, right? Now, I can almost guarantee you, all these people that call themselves quote unquote political parties in Liberia, they do not have anybody in their political parties that is focused on national security. That person's job should be just to address national security issues where they identify what they see coming wrong. Like, for example, these deportees are coming. If I was a political party or a political institution, the first thing would be to, okay, let us ask the government, whether these people were vetted. Are they criminals? What are the background? Where are they from? Which country did they come from? Those are the opposition. That's the job of the opposition, to keep the government on its toes, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have guys from the health sector. What condition? Because they say, quote unquote, health screening.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do we have a report in our healthcare system to show that this guy did all these lab work and these are the results? It may be private to them, but when it comes to our health, when it comes to public health, it is not private anymore, because whatever enters the country, it affects everybody. So that's the first thing you have in your political party. Do you have your health department? Do you have your security guys? Do you have your communication? You should have all these political institutions. You know the Democrat and the Republican, they got all those guys already set.
Oh,
so by the time they win office, they already know who is going to go there. Yeah. In fact, they got numbers of people who are already specialized in that area. All now they're doing is vetting the best person to serve. But if you look at in the past 20 years, if you look at all of our elections that have been held and people winning the election, when they get into power, before one, they start writing their policies. That's the first, before they start writing their so-called agendas. Okay, CDC did a propos when they got in power. As soon as Baga was elected, then we saw the arrest. And that's what they keep doing. So you don't have a plan before coming. So when you come in, that's when you try to create something to work with. So at the end of the day, they're all over the place trying to do everything at the same time. And when they leave, they accomplish nothing. So opposition right now, they're supposed to structure themselves. But because they don't have any focus, they don't have any policy agenda, it's difficult for them to target or press or hold the government to feed to fire. They just act on emotions. Because the opposition is now supposed to be educating the citizens. You and I in the United States, we see that happening every time. We see lawmakers from the various political parties, they're going and having town halls and educating people about immigration. What does it mean when somebody say non-immigrant? What does it mean when they talk about illegal immigrant? They got this discussion. When you talk about who benefit Medicaid, you see politicians here go and educate people and say, no, Republicans are lying and telling you, say, non-immigrants and illegal immigrants benefit from Medicaid. That's not true. There's a law that that's their job. Opposition, your job is to educate the voters. But our opposition in Liberia, because they're going to behave the same way the current government is going to, or even do worse than the current government is doing, they don't have anything to talk about besides the hot topic in the street. Anything they see people talk about, that's what they talk about.
Hey man, it break our heart. Well, Sabalusa, let's continue the story. I'm gonna pick on our CEO. I'm gonna pick on Stephen and his second country. Stephen is a Ghanaian. I don't care how you put it, he's a Ghanaian. Yeah, and so basically, I'm gonna pick on Ghana for a second, right? Look, I will say this before I pick on Ghana. When people come to the country, who is going to be responsible for these people that are coming into the country? The question was never answered. The Liberian government did not answer that question. There are a lot of unanswered questions going into this particular transition, going to this particular phase of quote unquote. I was so sorry for the information minister. I don't know him personally. We don't know each other. I really don't care to know him. But listening to the man, I feel bad for him. He wanted to sit there and recite or tell great stuff and count up As you know, the name Liberia comes from the Latin word liber. I can't even pronounce it correctly. I'm sorry, which means free. Look, I feel bad for him because that is not something I want my information minister doing in the first place. But who's going to take care of these individuals? We needed him to stand up there and answer those questions and tell us the government have put infrastructure in place, the government have put plan in place, all of these things, this is what's going to happen. And now, these people coming into the country, are they going to be managed by LRRC, which is Liberia Refugee Repatriation and Resettlement Commission? Are they the ones that are going to be taking care of those individuals coming to our country? That would be the best people to take care of them, right? Because that's what they were established for. They were established what, in 1993 during the war. Yeah. So they were established for that reason. So to take care of these refugee crises, take care of all these different things. Now, have they been tapped by the government of Liberia to say, look, this is what we're going to do. These are the people. In that press conference, I would have loved to see the head of that commission stand up there and answer those questions that, look, the commission have 25 houses, 50 houses that will be housing these individuals. And here is the plan that we are going to be doing over the years to take care of those people. I would have loved to see the commission address that. Now, even if the commission has stepped out to address that issue, this is where my bones with the Ghana issue come into place. What happened? It was just months ago, Sapalucia, when Liberians in Ghana were being kicked out of Camp Buduburam, right? Stephen O. hometown. They were getting kicked out of there. And those Liberians were all over Facebook. That little things they had were being put in the water, in the rain, and the Ghanaian government were throwing it out there. Bulldozers were just breaking down structures. We never heard from the Liberian government. Where was LRRC to say, oh, these are our people, let's go and bring them, repatriate them, bring them to Liberia and take care of them? We never heard from the Liberian government. We don't know. Most of those people just put themselves back in the Ghanaian community and stay where they could stay. And later on, we hear one of our brothers got killed in Ghana there. Okay? So I'm saying this stuff, I'm getting upset about it, so I'm not going to raise my voice. I'm not yelling at you, Sapalucia. But
go ahead, bro.
Very frustrating, very frustrating. What happened to the Liberians that were left on that camp that never had that thing? Where was the government of Liberia to go and pick them up? Because they didn't have money to give to the government of Liberia, but you're going to go bring 1,200 people in our country without even telling us where they're from? And you think that's okay? So let's address that, Sapalucia. Let's address that. This is a two-sided story. I call Stephen Contrary and he show up. Sapalucia, go ahead. I don't want to listen to Stephen right now.
No, but you see, and you're right when it comes to our refugees. But then the question too is this: are these refugees? Because there's a definition for people. Because these are people, refugees are people who normally seeking refuge, but these people were sent out there. I know they how they call him, the information minister called them guests, but normally guests are people you either invite. In fact, normally, yes, guests are people you invite and they stay temporarily. But by definition of guests, right? Guests are people who come to your place and stay temporarily. Now, in a country, they can come for a job, they can come for other stuff. But these people, their destination, their final destination is unknown. Their length of stay is unknown. Because per what we heard, they are free to leave Liberia anytime they want. So if I say I'm not leaving, if I find a place, if I'm a criminal, hardcore criminal, and I find it's a fertile soil for criminality, guess what? It becomes my permanent place of stay. So then they're no longer a guest. So we need to go back and define those words. Saying he had the opportunity to define laborer, I think he should have taken the time also to define what guest is before he started telling us that these were our guests. We did not invite them. I don't think Liberians in Liberia were inviting these people. Okay? But again, it comes to patriotism. Because we don't love our country, we tend to just give it to people anyway and hand out how they feel. We feel, right?
Free.
Most of the people, if let's take President Donald Trump by his word, whether accurate or not, according to him, most of the illegal immigrants in this country are the one bringing drugs, whether I agree with you or not.
He called them hardcore criminals and killers.
Yeah, they're bringing drugs in the country. They are rapists. They are gangs. They are all these negative things. Okay. So if there are all these things, and according to if they are true, America that is so sophisticated with technology, with its immigration system, and if these people can impede and get into this system, what's about a country that is porous, security network is horrible, and it's unfortunate that, that it is the way it is. Not that the money is not there to support them, it is there, but they're just not prioritizing that. So why would you send those people there to a country? So that tells us that Africans do not value their country, do not value their citizen, and they're willing to take any dump, any gang, any drug law, anybody from anywhere that somebody don't want, and they dump it in their countries. If these people were good people, why they couldn't send it to London? Those are their partners.
Mm-hmm.
Why they couldn't send it? Why? And I bet, and this is another point I want to make to the Liberian people, maybe they don't understand. There are a lot of illegal immigrants that are here that are engineers.
Mm-hmm.
They are doctors. They have good careers. Guess what? America is not deporting them.
Yeah, they give all justification to keep them.
Yes, they keep them. So if you want to deport all illegal immigrants, why not we who suffer from doctors send us the illegal immigrants that are doctors and engineers? That's what we should do. But you know what? And even if, and this is a big if they want to deport those people, Canada, Europe will be the first to say we want those people.
Mm-hmm.
So you have considered your countries as a dump site for waste. And no disrespect to those people that were sent, it's not them, but the character that have been
Describe
affiliated
to us.
with them, the
Yeah.
reason for which they are sitting there out of America is what I'm describing, not the individual I went to Liberia. I don't want people to mix those two out. Okay. So please don't mix those two up. I have nothing against those people that went to Liberia. I don't know them from anywhere. However, the reason Donald Trump, the president of the United States, deported them is because of some of those things are named. So if they're not good for America because they're not contributing to American society, what makes you think they'll be good for Liberia that is already in need of skilled laborers? That's my question to the Liberian president and the information minister and all those who representing this so-called agreement or the instruction they received from Donald Trump.
Stephen, let me bring you in. I know you want to come in and defend your country, but I want to ask, where was
No,
the
actually, I like where you guys are going with.
in Ghana? Where was the Liberian government?
No, I said I like where you guys are going with this, and the fact that you mentioned Ghana, because I actually visited a refugee camp. They bulldozed people's houses, and some of the people they didn't leave. They just went and put a cloth over that wall, and it stayed. And you're right. The government of Liberia always complain we don't have money. We don't have money. Even our own brothers and sisters were left in Ghana. Nobody went there to help them. And I interviewed a few people. I have videos I wanted to post online when I came back, but for some reason I didn't post that video. Right? People are suffering down there. Not one day we heard the government of Liberia, the information minister, anybody talk about, oh, we're going to help our people in Ghana. And when I was doing a little research on this, they said the Liberian government stated that there's no monetary value in this acceptance of these deportees for us as a country, right? There's no monetary value. So if there's no monetary value, we already don't have money to pay teachers. These people that come in, they are deportees. We're calling them guests. Where we're getting money from to feed them? Where we're getting money from to host them? Are we putting them in jail, or are we putting them in hotels? Are we putting them in the president's house or the information minister's house? Who will be hosting these people? Where are we going to host them? And who will pay for their feeding if we are calling them guests instead of deportees? If America didn't give us any money to maintain them, how did we agree on something like this that is going to cause us harm? Like Sapolosi has said, it could be all criminals, like the president of America said. Everybody that's supporting this deportation is doing this because they are criminals in America. When they arrest you, they don't arrest you and treat you like a diplomat. They put you in handcuffs, they take you to prison, you make your 1 or 2 calls, the next thing you're on a plane to leave the country. That's how you treat criminals. So if they are treating these people as criminals, and all of a sudden, we make an announcement on the 18th, on the 20th, people start showing up. What gun did they put to the president of Liberia head for him to accept something this bad? That would be my question to him or anybody who is part of it. What kind of gun did it? Was it the nuclear weapon at the pressing way, or was it a pistol, or
At a
whatever
good
they put to
English,
the head?
at a good
What did
English,
it?
yeah,
Huh?
124 million dollar.
the good
124 million
English.
dollar.
Sabulusa,
Yeah, so I want to know what made him to accept this, and it's happening so fast.
yeah, very fast, very fast. And Steve, to you and myself, we've been saying this long time ago before this even happened. After that first visit, when we saw what was happening around Africa and
Mm-hmm.
South America, you and myself, we already talked about this. We insinuated this on this particular platform and say, you know what? Joseph Walker was not invited to come and speak good English. That's not what they brought him here for. They did not invite him to come so he can taste apple juice because he get apple juice in Liberia. They brought him here because there was something. They were calling the economic summit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yes, Sabulisa mentioned 124,000. Million
Million.
dollars, but they are saying that was not a pay for this particular thing. They are until they can come and say, because the way the American government table that money, they said it was intended to upgrade the health sector, which Sabulisa enjoyed that statement very much. However, no upgrade yet. JFK people still dying from a private hospitals. They can still bunny baby on the sidewalk. JFK still don't have the standard labs that Sabulisa want to build in Liberia. They still don't have it, right? So it was intended to upgrade the health sector in Liberia. And so the
Yeah.
Liberian government said, no, they didn't pay us. We didn't get any money for this. We didn't get any money. Let them deny it. But we know that this was not a friendly gesture. It was not a free gesture. So if they have taken that money and they want to use it however they want to use it and they want to sweep it on the rug, we know. But Sabaliza, time is running out. Let's talk about something that the information minister said. He termed some of these guests, quote unquote guests, as people that are going to come. Most of them are not going to stay there. They are going to seek asylum if they want. And so let's talk about Liberia's asylum system. Come on, man. People can just take big words and just use it. Ma yata, ma miata, ma hawa, they don't know what that means, right? And I'm not bringing my people down, but our people are hardworking people. They can fry that plenty chip, they can sell that donut, and our children can be college graduate just through selling that potato grain. That's what they know. That's what they do best. But when you talk about the asylum system, they're talking about most of these people are going to come into asylum. The sophisticated country that you and myself sitting in here. I have a friend who sought asylum, and that person was granted. Sapolusi, that process was now 1 week. It was
No.
not 2 week. It was not 1 month. It was a year long process because it was in stages. So talk about 1,200 people, even if they all decide to seek asylum in Liberia. Think about the financial cost for one individual. Even if we say only 500 are going to seek the asylum to stay, or the other people that nation of origin going to come and pick them up. Think about the financial cost. How equipped is our immigration system in Liberia to be able to support the asylum that the information minister is alluding to? And how thoroughly can we do it to really vet? Are we going to go as far back as that person country of origin? Let's say if I was from South America, from Peru, you send me to Liberia. Is Liberia now going to contact Peru to get all the information they need to know about this particular person? Before they go and make that decision. How is that asylum system going to work? Sapoli said.
Well, I'm trying to imagine how, but let me just put it to you this way. Because I don't think it's first of all, I don't think it should call asylum. It should just be called dumping ground. That's how I see Liberia should be considered a dumping ground, not asylum seeking. Because some of the reason people seek asylum to in other countries is one, security or safety. Okay. Food security, health security. Most of these things I'm naming we don't have in Liberia for the Liberian citizens. The reason people run to America most of the time for these asylums is because they have these things there, right? Now let's look at the vetting process. On this show, 2023, around November, December, we sat here when I made a recommendation to the Unity Party then president-elect government and said one of the best ways they would have used to vet people that are going to work in their government, they are supposed to be government, was to partner with people within their political party who are in the diaspora and who may have ideas on HR, and then hire private organizations in America that do vetting process, so that when you vet somebody to serve as minister of finance, you vet somebody to becomes justice minister or whatever from the diaspora, you will have a full background of that person, how much money they owe for school tuition, how much they owe in house mortgage and all that stuff. Was that done? Absolutely not. No government in the last 20 years have done that. So if you cannot do that simple stuff to select who should serve as minister or directors in your country, you will and the process is so easy when it comes to background check, because I do background check every time when I hire somebody, and we pay the company pays a local company to do a background check for that person. It's not that extensive, but they check whether the person used drugs and past job history and all that stuff. So if you cannot do that, now, and these are people that have access to, right? Mm-hmm. They got Liberians in the United States that they have access to, that work in these different companies, that hire people and other stuff and no companies. Now, if you can't do that simple, which is who would take you less than, I don't know, $150 or $200, maybe $1,000 to vet that person, how are you going to do asylum that those will take about, at least in America, it takes about 2-3 years. And America is sophisticated.
Somebody said, correct me, I don't want you to lose your train, but just a quick question. Do we have immigration court system in Liberia? I don't know that. I don't know.
No, I have not heard that.
That's what I don't know. I didn't want to.
I have not heard that. I have not heard about immigration court system in Liberia. Okay, and again, and that's another one. Because in order for you to seek asylum, you got to go through the immigration court system. You got to have the immigration. I've not heard immigration lawyer in Liberia yet. You got to go through an immigration law firm, right? So, and that's the thing. So the process is almost invisible. It's not there, Sheriff, to answer your question. So I don't know how it's going to work, because it's not there. Because what you don't have, you can't make it work.
If you don't have the infrastructure, Sapolusa, you cannot accommodate why you don't have infrastructure.
No,
and so it's simple. That is why when we did not have infrastructure to contain Ebola, 2014, 2015, the U.S. stepped in, they built some makeshift infrastructure to contain that. Exactly. We don't have it. That's why most of our people die from that Ebola. We don't have the infrastructure. If we don't have the immigration court, we don't have immigration lawyers, we don't have, the system will be overwhelmed. And when the system is overwhelmed, you are doing disservice to those people that you are accepting to come in, which leads me to a second point that Liberians are not thinking about, or maybe that our leaders are not thinking about. And that is the human rights abuse thing. Human rights abuse thing. Don't forget, Liberia have put itself under serious microscope. It's not even a microscope. The binoculars are open on Liberia. Because of all the countries, whether South America or Africa, of all the countries, the largest number of people to a third world country that I have heard of is Liberia so far.
It's Liberia, yes.
1,200. The international news, they are reporting, they are talking about it. We are talking about these things, right? So Liberia, you just put yourself on a microscope. Human Rights Watch is watching. Okay? The United Nations, other organizations, they are watching you, Liberia, now. What becomes of those people? It becomes a serious testing point for you. If you bring those people and you just get them loose, and those people are now in your community, tomorrow morning we hear news, oh, one Chevy went to steal something, somebody killed him, you better be ready. Human rights advocates are coming after you. If you think I'm lying, listen to what happened in Eswatini and Rwanda. There are people that were sent, and right now there are legal cases against those countries for first breaking the human rights, violating the human rights of those individuals by accepting them to come to your country when they are not from your country. That's a serious thing. That's a serious thing. Liberia, you see, you already don't have money. Our children can't pay school fees, and the infrastructure for hospital is not working correctly, and now you're bringing people that you have to now be responsible for, and there could be legal ramification. The countries of origin, those individuals, those countries can come and sue you for taking in their citizens illegally when they could have just been sent back to their country of origin from America. And so let's talk about legal ramification and let's talk about the human rights violation piece of that. Because if you don't have the infrastructure to deal with the immigration system, the immigration court, and all of that, to get these people legal advocate to so they can go through the asylum system, it leads to human rights violation. So let's talk about that piece.
Yes, a good point. It's good you pointed that out because I was thinking about it not on the country side, but the individual side. Let's say
Mhm.
John Brown leaves from here. He goes. His parents or his family knows now that he's no longer in America. Where in America you have organization that was appealing for his right to healthcare, the right
ACLU,
to food,
yeah,
the
legal
right to
justice, yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Everything was asked for, but then he or she heard that, oh, your father or your brother have been taken to Liberia. The first thing they want to know is their health condition. Are they going to be provided health care? Are they going to be provided food security? Are they going to be provided security the, or from bodily harm? Are they going to be provided that, right? So if 2 3 years or 2 3 days down the line, something happens to that person, he or she gets sick and something happens, they die, that family have the right to sue your country because you have to because next they're going to start asking for autopsy, and if they can give you good toxic, autopsy that will confirm that cause of death was natural, then you got something else coming. So you got what 20 people that was sent to Liberia. I think only 1 or 2 people from Africa, most of them from the other countries. So the legal part. Let me also put something in here. Some of these people we don't know how long they were in America, right?
Mhm.
So there are a lot of things they have been exposed to when it comes to their legal rights as an immigrant in another country that Liberia is not prepared for, right?
Mhm.
Because I hear, and the reason we ask all these questions to Liberia, say, why are you not doing this? Why are you not doing is because we have been exposed to a different legal framework that most Liberians in Liberia are not exposed to, right?
Sure,
So
sure.
when I know this, right, and that's why when I'm busy all the time reading my constitution because the law and the exposure that I've had here have made me to go back to read the Liberian constitution so that I can know my rights when I'm there. Because the reason Liberians are being abused, they feel that their lawmakers and other people are better than them, is because they are not reading their constitution to know their rights, and they're not exercising that right as well. However, I who have been exposed to other culture and other legal rights that I have make me to take that time to go back to the Liberal Constitution and know those rights and know how to ask for them. Now, those people, most of those people, they're not just uneducated people. Yes, people can describe them as drug addicts and all the other. No, some of these people are actual doctors who ran away from their country because of hardship and came to America. And to be frank with you, most illegal immigrants in America are not criminals. That's not
Mhm.
accurate. We may put all these different descriptions on them, but they are not. Most of them are educated, well-educated people who are looking for a better life, and that's why they come here. So
Sure.
that person know his or her right, and they come into your country. So they might know more than you on the legal side. They could even be lawyers coming to your country and expecting the same laws or the same rights that it was applicable to them in the United States. The same thing should be applied to them in Liberia. And you don't have the infrastructure to provide that. You could get a lawsuit for the very individual who you have accepted in your country because when the man is coming to seek asylum, you have agreed by United Nations standard that you're going to provide a healthcare, food, or bodily or healthcare security. I mean, bodily security or whatever, human security, whatever right they have. You have agreed to provide it for them.
They
If you
say
cannot,
America. They say
most
America
of
will give them money. They say
yeah.
America will give them money to sustain it. Steven, go ahead, buddy. Go ahead. No, no, we're hearing you. Go ahead.
All right, yeah. So basically, I just wanted to chime in a little bit because I hear Sapolosia talking something like he's not following the whole thing that happening in this world. All the human rights that the Geneva Convention have put in place long time ago, those don't exist anymore, brother. I don't know if you know that. The fact that somebody can be put on a plane without due process and be sent to a third country, that had never happened in the existence of our humanity ever in anywhere. That had never happened, right? In the 21st century, that had never happened. No countries or other countries are doing that. Even some of the countries that we term to be the most weakest countries, they don't even do that. Then the great America that we all used to love, that we all used to run to, or that we all still want to run to, if they are doing that now, why will force Liberia to follow Geneva Convention, brother? Liberia got to answer to anybody. America not get you the go ahead to hold the go ahead to hold these people, hold them for the time you're supposed to hold them for. You let them go. When they start complaining, the airways there will hear it and will go anywhere. That's how the people taking it. So I just wanted to chime that in. The people that are accepting the people, that's how they're taking it. So you don't hear here to say like you all have to follow Geneva Convention. Sorry to be blunt, but I think that's how it's going to be
Steven,
handled.
before you run, don't run. Before you run, let me just say something, right? I know Mr. Sapolis is shaking his head because in disagreement. Because one leader on this side of the world decided to ignore the rights, does not mean it's not in existence. Other countries are being penalized severely for human rights violation, and most of these countries are still under sanction today as we speak. And so those rights are still standing, but I understand the point you're trying to make, the sentiments you're making, Steve. It makes sense to me. Well,
Just to add, Sharif, the person who responsible for the box sanction in the world gave you the right to do what they want you to do. You think America will put sanction on Liberia for violating human rights
but
when they said
human rights
so?
violation is not coming from America, and that's the thing. It's not coming from here. That's the thing. And another point that you made there when you talk about, if this person tell you to do certain things, then you can be charged with violating our right. We just got to go back maybe a few months ago, not even a few months, let's say 2 months ago.
Mhm.
Samuel Tour, he was standing around there. I hate to bring his name up in this thing, but he was standing around there and he was saying, "Oh, the president told me to do this, to give the money. So basically, I'm not guilty." The president is exempt. But you who went did it, and not him that took the court. Like bro still came after him and took him to court. In that case, we'll still get to the bottom of it. That's just another story. I'm just saying, so Libra can still be liable, even if Uncle Sam told him take these people and they agree. They could still be liable for those. The legal ramification is going on right now in other African countries. It's
I
taking
want to
place.
see. I want to see the code. I want to see the code that will hold a Liberia accountable.
I mean,
Suppose go ahead.
the,
So
the
yeah,
same code, the same code that took your former landlord to jail and lock him up, that same code will step in. The head.
so yes, and that's and that I think and that was Steve does not maybe he doesn't
I mean,
understand.
the court system is then
America,
biased. Sapolosia, you can make your point.
America, America is not signatory to the ICC.
Again, yeah.
Okay, but Liberia is.
Mhm.
So I want you to understand that as well. America is not signatory to the ICC. Liberia is. So the ICC still has jurisdiction in Liberia.
Okay.
Okay, so to say that you can ignore the human right of a person based on America's action, that is not accurate because you still answerable to the ICC. Okay, so let us just put that aside. But yes, those people still have rights. Just to answer that just to clear that so that the Liberians are not confused.
Okay.
Liberia is still answerable because today Chancellor is in jail. We know that, and anybody that the ICC see as a human rights violator, they tend to do that to arrest you and put. Even Israel might be doing all that stuff, but when Donald Trump is out of office, the next president come there and support that. Benjamin Netanyahu could be arrested and sent there. So yeah,
Right.
so
That,
that is
that,
not
that,
that is not
that
something
one
you
will
can
go.
overlook. It still exists.
Man, say, let you that one the old man.
Yeah,
But,
that.
let's go, Stephen. Let's go, Stephen play because Stephen always love when we do this kind of talk to bring it back home, right? So let's bring it back home. What does this all mean for our people in Liberia? What does it mean? You bringing people, and let's say the Liberian government does everything right. Make sure these people are eating 3 times a day. Make sure they see doctors before they get sick. Make sure that they have small pocket change. Make sure that they have good housing. They got running water. They got all the. That, let's say the Liberian government does everything right. Sapalucia, talk to me about the everyday people. Yesterday it was raining cats and dogs in the city. Where these people were walking in dirty water, some of them will get sick this week. God forbid. I mean, they will get sick from typhoid, from malaria, and all that stuff. People getting sick. And the Liberian government does all these things for these people you bring in the country. They want to go somewhere, you get transportation for them. They want to do this, you get them covered. You got them good housing. You do all of that. How? What is the psychological impact? I know you guys will ask me about the psychological impact, but think about the people in Liberia. How does that make them feel? Their own government. Think about the person in the camp in Budubumbura that was neglected. Think about the people that they go sell cold water all day. They only make less than $5 US from that cold water. Think about the people that are struggling to make it. But then here a group of people that our government catering to and making sure they get everything. They eat 3 times a day when most of our people don't even have 2 meals a day. How does that impact the population? Because from my research, I've looked at any country getting those, the people they will always protest against this kind of unfair treatment. So let's talk about that coming from the Liberian perspective. That's what they have in
So,
there for us.
so Mr. Sherry, unfortunately, Liberians are not self-aware. It's unfortunate. They're
But
not
that's what we're going to
self-aware,
tell them. Yeah.
right? They're not self-aware because if you look at just the treatment from their own government in current state, no matter how you educate them and tell them what rights they are entitled to, and the same people will be telling you, "Oh, I'm a political party." So again, unfortunately, our population are more. It's sad to say they are more gullible, right? So they are not self-aware of what their needs are. You would think that if I was in Liberia, because this cannot happen in Ghana. Let me put it that way. You cannot take foreigners from outside, you bring them to Ghana, you provide them all this food, you get them everything, and they live within the community. And the Ghanaians are looking at them getting that benefit, and they're not getting that. It can't happen in Ghana. It can happen in Liberia. Liberians will tell you America providing everything for this, but anything that government tell them that what to accept. Under a normal circumstances in the Ghana, like I talk about, yes, it will trigger something in the Ghanaian people to protest for their rights that those benefit people getting, they should get it. However, knowing
So,
Liberia,
when you make some good point, I just want to just be real quick because you're making such a good point. Because even the common refugees, even there on the camp in Budubumbura, when they get a little US coming from America going to Ghana, and then when the Ghanaians saw that the refugees were living better life than most of them, they protested against refugees. They wanted Liberians out.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So again, the city happening in Ivory Coast, the city happening in Ghana, I mean in Guinea. Okay, the city happening even in Sierra Leone. But Liberians, I don't know, for whatever reason, we are not self-aware, we are not self-promoting. We prefer other people to us. So for me, psychologically, I know what the impact it should have, but practically in Liberia, it's not going to have anything. The Liberian people will say, "Oh, that America did it." Whatever their government officials say, that's what they're going to go by. And in fact, people are going to be divided on party line again. They're going to make everything political. Now, the psychological impact should be this: why should a guy come in my country and enjoy all these benefits while I'm sitting here, I can't get anything? That's what I would expect. Why should this guy, when he gets sick, he get to go to JFK free, but the police guy who is in the street when he child gets sick, he's not going to the hospital? Why am I not asking my government why he's doing that? Why would the army guy, when he's sick or when something wrong with him, his children are not getting benefit? That should be the psychological question that Liberians should be asking. Unfortunately, knowing my country and knowing my people, it's not going to happen. It's sad.
That's us. Stephen, go ahead. There's someone echoing your background, Stephen. I don't know.
Yeah, the guys are mowing my lawn. That's why I keep muting. But
Man,
I
that boy
was
is rich. He gets somebody that can mow your lawn for him. Wow. Go ahead. Sorrow.
See,
man, just so you know, I your CEO. So someone I'm money somewhere, you know. Even though you don't get paid yet, but your pay coming.
the Liberian government.
All right. Yeah, so man, you know, Sapolosia, we keep mentioning Ghana. I think if we really look online, Ghana did agree to accept people too. They started first in Ghana, and I just did a search just to verify that, and there's a lawsuit against Ghana right now.
But they're telling us the other African country in lawsuit.
No, again, there's a lawsuit against Ghana concerning that right now. People are suing Ghana. But again, what I was saying, right, in terms of this whole thing, the guys got back again, so I may have to go back in the background. But in terms of this whole thing, Sapolosia, sometimes when these things happen, we don't know the back end discussion. You understand? You and I can sit here all day and talk, but our papa not agree. some kind of agreement has been made by the U.S. government and Liberia. And one way or the other, whether we like it or not, it may be favorable to Liberia. So all of us just gotta sit down and see where the thing go. Because we can't do nothing about it today. We can't do nothing about it tomorrow. We can't do nothing about it day after tomorrow. The only thing you can tell me say, hold on,
I'll interrupt you. So basically, you just
let me finish.
I'll interrupt you. You just said something that I will made me interrupt you. Our topic here today, Liberia's deportee Wahala. Who wins? We're asking the question. So you just sat here, you answered the question that Liberia is going to win from this arrangement.
Yeah, the government winning in some kind of way, because I don't think our papa, they told him you were very smart. Strong told him you were very smart, eloquent, and he understands English very well. So you can tell me, you can tell me our president stupid that he can just accept anything, my man. You can tell me.
So I will get. So
I will bet you. You can tell me our president stupid. They already told our president he's a very smart man. When that discussion was held, somebody had that discussion. Maybe the president didn't have the discussion, but somebody had that discussion, and the government of America may have said, maybe I will do something for you. Maybe I will pay your role. Maybe I will help you in the corner here. But you don't got to make it public. You just say we accepting the thing. We're doing it for free. And we will take care of the back end. Maybe that what happened. But me, since I know, I don't work for BBC. I work for Liberia, right? I know how we broke. I haven't paid you since I started working for the platform. So we even get that kind of reset money to go back and to find out what the discussion was. So from my little understanding, I think somebody chopped something somewhere, and let us pray God that is beneficial to Liberia. That's why I will end today. We also pray or saying more youth prayer and stuff. So I'm using prayer today to say, let's pray that whatever decision was made in the back end is beneficial to Liberia. I will rest my case. You can tear it apart.
Sample, okay. Go make your point.
So let me make my point based on factual information that was given. Okay. So Equatorial Guinea received cash upfront. Rwanda received 7.5 million cash. They say they want that cash in their hands. This is what I know. They know in Liberia the way things are going.
Don't pick the other two countries and leave Eswati out. I don't even know where they come from, when they became independent. But
yeah, that one I don't know much about that country. That one I'm not trying to leave them aside until I get to know more about them, whether they're part of the United Nations or not. I don't know.
They asked for that money up front too.
Yeah. So, but if you see Liberia, right, and this is where it gets, because as opaque, every situation in Liberia is almost as dark as a rainy night in Liberia, where the star, the moon, everything is clouded. You can't see your palm when you get outside. That's how Liberia operation works. They said they asked for financial aid when it comes to healthcare services. Well, it's been almost a year or more than a year since the so-called instruction was given. You keep calling it agreement. Agreement is what people negotiate. Say they get the instruction, okay? That's one of the benefits that you get. Another one will be visa access, B1, B2. Liberians do not benefit from this. It's only the elites that benefit from this stuff. They talk about migration support, technical, administrative support for border and migration. We got drugs flowing in Liberia. I don't know what the immigration status is today. I know because they pay the immigration officers.
They send people to Liberia to help with the drug investigation. They're part of the process.
So that is a failure by itself, because that means the so-called immigration and technical administration they're giving at the border has not worked, right? Because with almost 2.5 years into the government, and the borders, in fact, Guinea is still occupying Liberia land in Lofa County. So that has not worked. They said diplomatic value, strengthening U.S.-Liberian relation. The last time I checked, I don't know when it got damaged. We're going to drink chance at the time it got bad off. Early Johnson said built it. They have not really eroded, besides George we are being invited by the CIA. Other than that, people still going to Liberian presidents, or then still coming to America. Only Chancellor was not opportune to come here because of his situation. So that really strengthening, I don't know how you strengthening it. Strengthening on who end? That America should get more leverage, because Liberia have always gotten nothing. Okay? Then talk about humanitarian framing. Well, what program have they put in Liberia in the last 5 years, 2 years, 3 years, 6 months that can show me that Liberia humanitarian effort have improved? Because like we all have alluded today, JFK still lies in ruin. We see them building all kinds of stuff all over the place with no human capacity building, with no drug still affecting our youth. We don't see any rehabilitation structure that is there. When these guys go into rehabilitation, when they come out, they are useful to society. So all these so-called five benefits are supposed to come to America. It's not benefiting the typical Liberian. If at
You mean
all,
supposed to come to Liberia? You mean, yeah.
yeah, if at all anything supposed to benefit Liberians, maybe as that $124 million that was earmarked for healthcare benefit, it will go into their pockets and they take it and they build their own little things here so that when they're gone, just like Ellen said, from what we heard, allegedly built about almost $1 billion hospital in South Africa, allegedly, and that what her son is managing, Robert Sele is managing now in South Africa since he left to become ambassador for George Weah. But and again, everything that comes does not filter or trickle down to the Liberian people. It's still right at the top, executive mansion, the State Department, and maybe in the Capitol building, and that's it, Capitol Hill.
Yeah. So, gentlemen, let's take 5 more minutes. Let's try to wrap this up. But look, I think we have talked about lots of the negative impact, the negative connotation that this transaction have for Liberia and Liberians. And like you, Sabalusi, I disagree with Stephen that Liberia wins. I don't think Liberia win at all. I think Liberia is putting itself in lots of headache, picking up something that they have no business picking up in the first place. And I agree with the information minister. Liberia is a welcoming place. I agree in that with that statement. We are a welcoming nation, and that is why our constitution is very clear. People of Negro descent, we don't discriminate against other Africans. Come to our country. When you and myself going to school, we had a lot of Ghanaians. I had Nigerian that taught me in high school. You were in the same high school there with me. I had some of them in LU when I went to the university there. And so I have no problem. We have people everywhere that we welcome. So we got no problem with our constitution in that regard. However, though, there's nothing in there that says we should just definitely just open our doors to issues when we know it will cause us problem. And I think this is what brought the discomfort to the information minister. That's why when he was presenting that information, he did it so calculated, calculating his words, counting it, and trying to present it in ways that he would not have to answer the big question. And so, we've talked about all of this, but what do we do going forward? How do we take this home? How should our people behave? How should our government behave to its people? For me, in my closing here, I just got to tell you this, Apalucia. The government, you've already made your decision. Left your people out. You left your people out. Liberians are not aware of what you decided behind the door. Now, what you can do, invest in infrastructure in the country. You did something this year where you said, for public schools in the country, I was laughing at that. We didn't have time to talk about that. For public schools in the country, from 0 to 6th grade, it will be free. You made that pronouncement. Now, whether the people are going to be able to keep the doors open to those schools, that's a different story. Because you can say free all you want, but if the teachers are not being paid and they are all going to the private institutions, then that free education is not free, right? Then something else happened. And so I just want to make sure that the Liberian government build infrastructure, build things that will help the Liberian people. Don't sideline your own citizen and make other people better or take care of other people than your own people. We've seen this too many times in our country. We know that Lebanese in the country, they have more say than the everyday Liberians. You, Lebanese man, can come and take your land and you'll go to court. The court will side with the Lebanese. They have been doing it all along to us Liberians. They prefer other people over their own people. Don't let this be another slap in the face to the Liberians. Create opportunities for them, create jobs, invest in infrastructure, let the same treatment that these people are receiving, let Liberians feel like they are also benefiting from that country. That's where I close, and I yield back on my closing for today. Sapalucia, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Sheriff. So yes, and again, I think information is very important. You see, information being given to the people will give them some clue on how to deal with these people. And let us be frank, we don't know what language these people speak. one thing I don't know that we have in Liberia are translators. Okay, when I was growing up in school, yeah, we took French, we took, well, some of us don't understood those things anyway. We're just memorizing and putting out what we memorize. Okay, some of our brothers are fortunate to go to Africa and other places to learn the French, but we just did that in class. I have not seen a translator being in hospitals, in courts, and other places in Liberia. So I don't know if that's something the government is going to also establish to start or bringing translators for some of these people. Because I think I didn't see all of those people pictures, but I think I saw people that look almost like people from around here, this Western Hemisphere. I think I saw people with that kind of with that color. I think I saw one or two African descent, but I think some of those would look like they come from around here. So and they mostly speak Spanish, right? So if they do speak Spanish, do we have Spanish translator in Liberia to afford them those opportunities? Because that's a right they need as well. Do we have those? And then when it comes to our citizens, in order for Liberia to rise, let us start using these occasions to learn from them. Everything we see in Liberia tend to just stay up on Capitol Hill. Capitol Hill. Capitol Hill is not Liberia. Okay, we cannot make all the decisions on Capitol Hill, all the money dispersed on Capitol Hill, and all the money stays on Capitol Hill, and then the rest of the country are wondering where do we get our daily bread. This is just not fair to the country. And in fact, just a place right by the Capitol Hill, which is the University of Liberia, is left out. Can you just imagine the part of the decision making, and yet they are left out when it comes to how they should be developed. And for the last few months, they have been out of school. They've been negotiating with the president that they took from here to go to Liberia to restructure the university. Nothing happened. It's been the same old, same old. So let us be intentional about these things, right? If our government is accepting people, it's not a bad thing. But we should do proper vetting process, or we should have proper vetting process. We should have infrastructure that will support what we're asking or what we're accepting. Other than that, the Liberians will one day have to answer those questions. What happened? What went wrong? Because all it takes is for one mistake to happen. A guy who's speaking Spanish to somebody and that guy speaking English don't understand. They get into or they go into some argument and somebody takes something and before you know it, there's a thereby lying down and it becomes different. We know these things happen in Liberia. So as we go forward, Liberian government, please try to inform your people about decisions you make. And before making this decision, get your lawyers involved. I don't know whether lawyers were involved in this process. We don't know. Again, because information are not given, we are left to speculate. And that's what happens when the government refuses to educate its citizens. If you don't inform your people, you leave them with no option but to just speculate whatever they hear. And even as you can see, the drug issue that happened in Liberia is all about speculation. I can bring my theory, Jerry bring his theory, everybody bring their theory, and then government start looking for a way to find out. But it is always good. We do this in our homes. When anything happens in our homes, we won't be the first to tell our children. We don't want our children to hear from somebody else because they may hear the wrong information from somebody else. So it is better for us to step forward, inform our people. When our people are informed, even if they get angry, they will still come back and understand why you did it. But the worst thing is for them not to be informed. So going forward, Liberian government, please, anything you're doing, try to be transparent. If you got nothing to hide, I'm sure you'll be transparent. Let us fight for Liberia to rise. And in order for Liberia to rise, we all need to have a saying. With that, I want to say thank you all for joining us today. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your week. And I hope now next week, August start, Monday, next week, Monday. And I hope we have a new month and new celebration. September, sorry. September starts. Thank you and have a wonderful one.